If you don't know about that, that is Wu-Tang Tears. And today on the Believe in Fantasy Basketball podcast, we are going to be discussing Points League Tiers. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. I talked about it last episode that I sprained my ankle while playing basketball with my son, and I am in my 40s, y'all. Yeah, it's going down, and I need to take it easy. I think I'm about to just retire totally from getting on the basketball court and doing anything that is remotely competitive. I am out on that. But let's jump right into these tiers. So we're going to break these players down by S tier, A tier, B, C, and D tier. Let's get right into it. There is no surprise that the number one player in the S tier is going to be my main man, Victor Wembanyama. I think there's only two other players that live in that top tier. The next one is Nikola Jokic, and then Luka Doncic. For fantasy basketball, it's worth noting that you need to pay attention to your playoff schedule. Many are saying that Luka's value is not as high because he has a questionable playoff schedule depending on how your league settings are laid out. He does have a 2-game week towards that fantasy playoff season. So just be very careful. So let's go ahead and jump into the A tier. So the guys I want to take a look at here, the first one I'm really putting is the top of that section is SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I've seen him go in the middle of the first round. I've seen him go at 3. So definitely somebody that I would lead off that tier with. The next person is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then last but not least in this tier is Anthony Davis. Some people are lower on Anthony Davis because of the injury risk. Listen, what I always say is you are injury prone until you are no longer injury prone, right? This guy had a healthy season. He played a bunch of games, put up some amazing numbers. Definitely somebody that I'm eyeing in that 5th position, even, in the first round. Next, we're going to go to the B tier. Now, the B tier is where it gets a little complicated. We're going to just lead off with Domantas Sabonis, a double-double machine for points leagues, super valuable. The next guy is someone that is not as high in the points league space for many, but I still believe he will perform at a high level, and he's somebody that I'm going to throw right in this mix. That is Tyrese Halliburton. Next up, one of my favorite players for this season from the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young. I think Trae Young is going to have an amazing season, especially with DeJounte Murray leaving town. It's just going to open up tons of opportunity for him. He is also a double-double machine, can average 25 and 12 easy, so look out for him. Next up is an oldie but goodie, LeBron James. I'm going to put him in that B tier, one of the most consistent players we've ever seen in fantasy or NBA history. This might be a shocker for some, but I have Jason Tatum down here. Some might have him higher. For points leagues, I'm just not feeling him. I've been burned a couple of times. And to be quite honest, the issue that I have with him is he has really big games and then he kind of disappears. So the way the Celtics are currently constructed, there is tons of talent on the team and many mouths to feed. I just don't want anything to do with it. So I got him here in my B tier. The next player we have is somebody, again, that many are higher on a per game basis, the top player in points leagues last year, but I have tons of concerns around Joel. I watched him in the Olympics. He just didn't look like he was getting after it. He just secured a bag, got a big contract. I'm okay with him in the second round. Many are grabbing him in the first round. I just don't want that headache. There's other players that I'm way more interested in, but I'm still going to put him here in that B tier. Then another player that I'm not as high on just because I fear that we'll be in the same position as we always have been with him over the last few years, and that's Ja Morant. A phenomenal points league talent, but he's always jumping on IG Live, Facebook Live with the blicky. and I want no parts of that. So I probably draft him in the second round if he drops, but in the first round, early second, I'm not messing with Ja Morant. Somebody I am checking for is LaMelo Ball, and he is a deal right now. For Yahoo as well as ESPN, he's like going way lower than he should. For me, again, there is the injury concern there, but I always am fine with taking a risk when it comes to injury for one of my top two players. No biggie at all. So I don't give a shit, Sue Puppy. I am drafting LaMelo Ball if he is available. And the last player in this tier is another one that I'm really high on, and that is James Harden. James Harden is going to get a lot of opportunity with Paul George leaving town and Russell Westbrook as well. I just think it's tons and tons of value where he's going in drafts, so I'm eyeing him wherever I can. In the C tier, we're going to lead off with one of my favorite players in real life, not one of my favorite players for fantasy. I'm talking about Anthony Edwards. Many have him going way higher than this. I just don't believe it yet. It could happen, especially in a points league, but I really have to see it. Someone who is kind of, I would even say, stabilized in terms of his value is Devin Booker. Devin Booker has always kind of been a second round player, and I just kind of feel like he's dropping a little bit. I still have interest in drafting him, but again, he's in this C tier for me. The next player is somebody I'm a lot higher on, and that is the Rookie of the Year, Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes came out of nowhere last year. I have a video on TikTok that will not age well where I said don't draft him. I'm raising my hand and saying I made a mistake there. Draft yourself some Scottie Barnes this year, a high-level producer. The next player in this tier is one of my favorite players, Alperen Sengun. He is an absolute beast. I call him the baby Joker. What? He's just going to continue to cook, distributes the ball, rebounds the ball, scores the ball. There are some issues with his free throw shooting, but for a points league, with most settings, it won't matter. Grab yourself some Alperen Sengun. And the last person in this tier, and I don't even know how he made it in this tier, to be quite honest, but I'm going to go ahead and throw him in there anyway, is the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant. So for me, big Kevin Durant fan. For fantasy basketball, for years, he's provided value. This season is the season that these stars that we've been drafting for years, the Hardens, the Currys, the Kevin Durants, the LeBron James, this is the year that in terms of value, I'm starting to pull back a little bit in terms of where I'm placing them in this pecking order. So I got Kevin Durant here at the C. Now it's going to get interesting. The D tier is going to be chock full of players. I must note that Kyrie Irving is not in the mix right here. They don't have his photo here. I would also put him in this D tier. But let's jump right into it. We're going to lead off with the babyface assassin. I might move him around, actually. Next up, we're gonna go Damian Lillard. Actually, let's put Damian Lillard in front of Curry there. Then we got Bam Adebayo. I'm okay with that. Then we're gonna go with let's go with Donovan Mitchell. Let's go with Donovan Mitchell over here. Actually, let's just move the Don right here in front of Curry. It's time. Then we're gonna go with Paolo Banchero. Let's move him right here by Bam. Chet Holmgren, who is one of my favorite players. I love him. De'Aaron Fox. Jalen Brunson. Oh, my goodness. And then let's go with Zion, Julius Randle, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown. Let's put Markkanen here. I'm not so high on Kawhi. Let's just move him down. Pascal Siakam. And then last on this list is Jimmy $100 Coffee Butler. So that's the tiers that we're breaking down. The D tier is a little congested. Maybe I could move some of those players around in terms of where their value sits, but definitely that S through C tier, I'm feeling like that's pretty on par with what I believe is going to work for us in fantasy basketball drafts this season. Now that you know which tiers to put these NBA players in, check out this playlist for all of our mock drafts.